Hello everybody, welcome to Voxfor Lifetime, your one-stop destination for Linux and tech tutorials, brought to you by Voxfor.com, your trusted partner for lifetime hosting solutions. Today, we are diving into an essential skill for network management using the Nmap command to scan ports on Linux. This guide has something for you. So now let's get started. Before jumping into commands, it's helpful to understand what Nmap is. Nmap, which is a short form for network mapper, is an open source tool used to explore and audit networks. It helps identify open ports, detect services, and map network structures. On Linux, it becomes even more powerful ally for system admins and enthusiasts. Next, let's see why we should use Nmap. Nmap is used for network discovery to identify the networks which are present on another network, and for port scanning if we want to scan for any open ports, for doing a service identification about which ports or services are using a specified port. We can use Nmap for OS detection to identify the operating system type and on the software it is running. Also, we can use Nmap for vulnerability assessment by using it to check if there are any vulnerabilities in our system. Moving forward, let's see how we can install Nmap on our Linux machine. For installing Nmap on our Linux, we will use a command defined according to your operating system. If you are on Ubuntu, you have to type a sudo apt update. For executing this, I have to go to my terminal and type in sudo apt update. This is used to update our repositories. When sudo apt update is done, we have to type sudo apt install nmap, and this command will install nmap on our Linux machine. Nmap installed in our Linux server. Coming up next, let's discuss what ports are in Linux. Ports are used to send and receive traffic from our VPS to the internet or on any designated machine or infrastructure. There are three types of port which are used and can be scanned by using Nmap. The first type of port is the open port, which is used to send traffic and receive the traffic. The traffic can be sent actively from these ports. Second type is the closed ports. From the closed ports, we cannot do anything. They don't accept the traffic, and all of the traffic which is requested from these ports. We also have filtered ports, which are blocked by firewalls or some other services for security measures. Most of the ISP close the port 25 is blocked for preventing from abuses by spammers. These ports are run on TCP and UDP protocols. Let's move forward and discuss the basic Nmap commands which are used by Linux administrators, whether you are a beginner or an advanced user. The first command which we will be using is for our host discovery. We can use nmap space hyphen sn and our IP address along with the subnet. I will copy this command and paste it into the terminal. First, I will clear the terminal and paste it. This command will scan the subnet of the local IP address 192.168.1.0. This is a local address in our network. This can take some time because Nmap is scanning a subnet of the IP address which we have just specified. We can see that Nmap scanning has been completed for the 256 IP addresses, which is directly linked to the 24 subnet. This forward slash which we are using over here is used to denote or represent the subnet of our network or IP address. Let's move forward to another command. If we want to scan for a single host or a single IP address, for example, I want to scan a IP address and map space, and we have to directly input the IP address which we are having. That is 192. You can use your own IP address or your target IP address. In this tutorial, we are showing you with the sample IP addresses of a local network. Moving forward, if we want to scan multiple IP addresses in the same nmap command, we can do that by specifying secondary or multiple IP addresses followed by a space. For example, I will copy this command, paste it in our terminal. This command will scan for the IP addresses which I type over here, which are 192. These two IP addresses have now been scanned, and we can look that point took around 3 seconds of time. If you are giving Nmap a large number of IP addresses to be scanned, it will take much time. But if you want to scan for a singular or less number of IPs, it will take less time. Coming up, let's see how we can scan an entire subnet using the nmap command. For scanning a subnet, we have to do nmap space our IP address, which will be in our case 192.168.1.0. Then we have to specify the subnet. The subnet are of various categories such as a 16 subnet or a 24 subnet. Let's do for 16. We have previously done for the 24 subnet, which consists of 256 IP addresses. The scan for this subnet will take longer because it is having a 65,536 IP addresses which are present for scanning. So it may take some time. Let's move to our next example, which includes how we can scan a port or the port ranges in our Linux. For this example, we have to copy the command which is listed in our blog and paste it. Nmap space -p space port range. In this scenario, we are using our port range from port 1 to 65535. So here I will do 1 dash 6553 space the IP address or the source where we will be using this command. For example, we use the IP address 192.168.1.1, and we now have to hit enter. The -p is used for ports. We can see that it scanned the ports of the specified IP in 3 seconds. Similar to this, if we want to do a service and version detection on our Nmap, we can use -sv along with our nmap command. I will open to terminal and paste a command nmap space -sv space our IP address. Moving forward, if we want to try a OS detection using nmap, we will copy the command -o and paste it in our terminal. Nmap space -o space a specified IP. So in our case, I'll be using this IP, and it will try to determine what is the operating system of the specified IP which we are trying to do the nmap. OS is Linux. Linux. Similar to this, if we want to scan some specific or specialized templates, We can do a stealth scan. Stealth is used for visibility. It will decrease our visibility. Next, we have to do a hyphen small s and then capital S, which will be for stealth. I'll paste it. Yeah. Nmap space hyphen SS and then our IP address. This command will do a stealth scan. Similar to this, I want to perform a UDP scan for Nmap command. I can do using the hyphen SU. Coming up, we will perform a aggressive scan, which do scan of IP addresses and provide comprehensive information. We have to type nmap space hyphen a to make sure that the A is capital and then our IP address. This may take some time because it will be doing a aggressive scan. If we want to know how much task is done, we can press any key and it will show a status update about how much time is remaining for completion of the command. Aggressive scan shows us about the details of server in one command. We can see that the server is using a light speed web server and what type of packets are present on the server along with major details and trace route. This also tells us about the service fingerprint which is being used by the server. If I want to next check for the scripting engine in Nmap and perform a vulnerability scan, I can do by using the script function and using vulnerability option from the script. We have to copy the command and paste it in our terminal. It will detect for any vulnerabilities in our destination IP address. Moving forward, we will see how we can do the HTTP enumeration, which stands for the directories on a target server. Well, we need to choose HTTP enum option from our script section of Nmap. We have to copy it. Now we paste it in our terminal and hit enter. After which it will check for all of the enumeraties in the HTTP of the designated IP address. Next up, if we want to do some custom scripts and run them for designated IP address, we can do by running our specified script along with IP address. For using this, we have to do nmap space hyphen script space our script name. We will take bash test.sh space the specified IP address and hit enter. If we want to do some real world example about scanning a local subnet, which I already showed you, you can do so by running a SN, which is for scanning the network of your IP address. Copy the command and paste it in terminal. This may take some time. You can see it will take around 3 minutes and 22 seconds. The scan for our subnet is now completed. We will move on to our next part of tutorial, web server analysis. In this example, we will see how we can check if port 80 and 443, which are HTTP and HTTPS, can be explored using nmap command. We have to copy the command, paste it in our terminal over here, and hit enter. Nmap will now scan for these ports if they are open on the specified IP address. The -sv command is used to check ports along with the -p or -p. The 80 port is open and running with a Nginx server, and the 443 is well. Nmap also tells you what type of service is being used on the specified port. Moving forward, check if there are any vulnerabilities present in IPS which you have set up over the internet. This will check for any vulnerabilities which are present in my specified IP addresses and report it back to me. Although you should only do this if it is strictly necessary and you own the destination IP address. You should not perform it because it can cause you issues, as not all providers permit you to allow port scanning. Moving forward, let's discuss the best practices while using Nmap. We should use stealth scanning to avoid detection in foreign IP address instances. We can use the stealth scanning by using -s command. The second is should be capital and first is should be smaller. If we want to target some specific ports, such as a HTTP port or port 25 for SMTP, we can use the -p option. We should always stay ethical and only perform Nmap scan on designation servers, which we have permission to perform the Nmap scans. Now, let's move on to the troubleshooting steps for Nmap. The first step about the permission error. If we are getting a invalid or permission error, we can do sudo nmap and the dots. I'll copy the command and paste it in my terminal. You can see that the nmap started without any issues. Use this if you are unable to perform the nmap scans on your target IP addresses. Secondly, if we want to make sure about the length of the timeouts, we can use nmap-host timeout and then specify a timeout to prevent ourselves from spending time. I will do it over here by starting nmap-host timeout space 2m. This will only take a timeout of 2 minutes. If the server does not connect within 2 minutes, it will not perform further and the nmap will be stopped. Thirdly, if I want to view the ambiguous results, I can do a -v. So let's copy it, paste it in our terminal, and you can see it is scanning the IP address. The -v is a verbose which we use for scanning in Linux about specified IPs or gain detailed information. That's all for today's tutorial on Nmap. We covered the installation, basic and advanced scans, and the practical uses for Nmap command. If this video helped you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with other people who are interested in Linux and networking. For detailed steps, you can also visit our website, which is linked in the description of this tutorial. And remember, whether you need a lifetime VPS, managed WordPress hosting, or powerful dedicated servers, or cPanel licenses, direct admin licenses, or you have any web development work or WordPress development, Voxfor is there to help you out with its 24/7 support. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.